Yo, it's Preston Pugmire with Next Level Life. This is part 3 of how to use the law of attraction. If you haven't seen the first 2, go watch them because we're gonna get into it. Boom. All right, today we're gonna talk about the 3 steps to manifesting and really using the law of attraction. In the other videos, we talked about what the law of attraction is, the analogy of the farmer and how your subconscious mind works with all this stuff. This is where we get to brass tacks. Number 1 with the law of attraction. Not gonna surprise you. You have to be clear. You have to be clear about what you want. You have to be clear about what you want. If you went to a restaurant and you said, I would like some food, they're gonna have some follow-up questions. If you got into a taxi and said, I would like to go, please, they're not gonna hit the gas right away. So for you, are you just drifting? Are you just kind of drifting, just saying maybe I'll get to where I wanna go, maybe I'll get the things that I wanna get, it would be nice if, that would be great if, oh man, I wish that would be part of my life. What if you got into a car and you just started driving? Are you really gonna get to where you wanna go? If you don't know where you want to go, then maybe that's fine. But what if you saw a really nice car? And you're like, ooh, I like what that person's doing. I'm going to follow them for a while. Eventually, you're going to realize that you get to be clear about what you want. Every time I have somebody set a goal, one of my clients, somebody in a group coaching, somebody in one of my one-on-ones, or somebody at an event, every time I ask them, what do you want? And then I have to ask follow-up questions. We are not programmed to be super, super clear about what we want. One of the first questions you can ask if you aren't really sure, you're like, man, what do I want? It's just an easy one. You just say, what do I not want? Because then you can be like, oh, I know what I don't want. Boom, 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 boom. You start listing it. And then you start to get some clarity around it. And then you can maybe just do the opposite of some of those things. But if you want a certain amount of money, how much money do you want? Not just more money. I want to make, $250,000 this year, right? So it's going to be, okay, by when? By December 31st, I want to have this much money. So what is it? I want to lose weight. No, not a goal. I want to lose 10 pounds by March 31st. That's an actual goal. Now here's some things you can do with that. You can visualize it. You can actually put together a movie in your mind. You can close your eyes, put on some music, and visualize yourself there in that situation, already having that body or that amount of money or that relationship or whatever. And this isn't about just I just think it and then it just happens. No, you're just getting present to what that's gonna feel like, because that's going to assist you in actually creating it. One time I was skiing with my brother, and he kept falling down on this one jump. He would hit it, and he would try and do this trick, and he would just fall down. And I said, what are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? What's going on? He's like, oh man, I'm just so frustrated, because when I go up to him, I'm like, man, I just don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. So he's focusing on falling, and he's focusing on frustration. He's picturing himself falling. He's picturing himself frustrated, and it keeps happening over and over and over again. So we were on the lift, we were going up, and I said, okay, if you're open to this, and he was, he closed his eyes, I want you to picture yourself approaching the jump. Now, what would it feel like if you've already landed it? What would that feel like? So I took him through just the sensation of going off the jump, doing the trick, and then actually landing it, coming away confidently, smoothly. What are you feeling in your emotions? What does the snow feel like as you land? What does the air feel like? What does your face look like? What is going on? Bringing all the senses into it. What does your gloves feel like? Because they're in the air rather than on the ground. I'm talking getting clarity. And then visualizing it, visualizing it, visualizing it. And then he went down and he hit the jump perfectly the very next time. And it was absolutely amazing. I loved how he approached that. But you get to bring all your senses, make it a sensory experience. Make it tactile, make it olfactory, make it audible. What are you going to be experiencing when you have that? bring it into your present tense. That's the next part. Bring it into the present tense. Because there's really only one time, and that's now. There's no past, there's no future. It hasn't happened yet, because every time you get to the future, it's always now. It just is. So bring everything into the present tense so that your subconscious mind can really think about it in the present tense. Also, make sure that you can wrap your heart around it. People talk about, like, I used to say wrap your mind around, but like now I talk about wrapping your heart around it. Like, if you want to make a certain amount of money, maybe it's not your next step to go from, $2,000 a month to all of a sudden you're going to $50,000 a month. Maybe that's not your next step, because if you say, oh man, I'm gonna make $50,000 a month, you're gonna hit an emotional block right there, and you're more than likely you're gonna be like, oh man, I don't know if I can do that. And if you don't feel connected to it, maybe pull it back just a little bit so that you can get something there's a sweet spot where it stretches you and you can wrap your heart around it at the same time. So now that it stretches you and that you can actually wrap your heart around it, and it feels a little bit uncomfortable, then ask yourself, why do I want it? Why do I want this? What is it gonna make me feel? Once you're clear on that, you can make it even more vivid. And then, of course, how would you feel? How would you feel if you had it? We're getting back to the emotions, okay? So the law of attraction really gives you what you feel. Like, what do you feel deserving of? What do you feel worthy of? Number 2, this is where it gets fun. Ooh, I love this. Absolutely love this. Embody it now. What this means is think about the version of you. Like you're talking about, like, on timeline, okay? There's a version of you in the future that already has that. What does that version of you think, feel, and do? And this is how you time travel, man. It's so cool, because if you say, okay, I'm stoked about this. This is what you do. This version of you, it's already in the future, and then you say, what does that version of me think, feel, do? The version of me that's like 5 years down the road. They already have, this thing that I'm looking to create here. What does that version of me think, feel, and do? And then you ask, what do they not think? What do they not feel? What do they not do? And then you bring to the present moment all of those qualities, characteristics. You embody those traits. You embody those behaviors, those emotions, those thoughts. You step into the version of you that already has that. And that's how you time travel. You bring that into the present moment. And the cool thing is, like, you don't have the outcome right now, but you are living in alignment with that version of yourself that's going to have that. And like my analogy earlier with, like, you got to do those things before you date that person, that's what you're doing in this moment. And then it gets fun. How do they speak to themselves? Who do they hang out with? Who do they not hang out with? What things do they not say anymore? What things do they not think anymore? This isn't about fake it till you make it. You are literally stepping into a future version of yourself. And if you don't know what that version of you would do or would think or say, find somebody who is already living or who already has that. There is somebody in the world that already has something very similar, if not exactly, what you're looking to create. Then you can get close to them in some way, whether that's watching their videos, listening to their podcasts, joining their masterminds or groups, or going to an event of theirs, or just like consuming things that they do, or seeing if you can go to a party that they're at, or go to dinner with them. Like, there are ways to get closer to them. Watch all of their things on Facebook and Instagram. Like really get clarity around how they're thinking. What are they doing? It's not about fake it till you make it. It's about really embodying that version now, because that's going to be the thing that's going to align you with your goal and then attract that into your life. And if you don't do that, you are screwing yourself over, and you're you're dragging the process out. One of my mentors just recently said, he was talking to a room full of people, and he said, some of you are on track to be millionaires in 328 years. Because we're just doing things by default, and it's just slowly drifting and not really being intentional about it, not doing this collapsing of the time, not doing this thing where we're embodying the future version of ourselves now, and then it's just going to take us. Like, if you don't do this, You are choosing the slowest, most painful process, the slowest, most painful way to get to your goals. So now that you've said to yourself, how do I become that person? Now we get to the third thing. And this is something that is, for me, this is kind of the hardest part. And it takes real focus to do this, because our brain, our freaking ego, gets in the way of this one. We gotta surrender the details. If you are focused on every little bit of how, every little bit of like, every step, every detail, every like, man, you just get bogged down, and then you end up focusing on the lack of growth because you're comparing yourself to this idea of what you think should be happening. When you can really surrender the details and make the how the least of your concerns, and just focus on taking inspired action. This is very important. Inspired action. You're getting in touch with your intuition. What is the step that I can do today? Because you have to take action. This isn't just about putting up a vision board and then meditating and then everything just appears. No. The version of you that has that outcome, has that money, has that relationship, has that body, they did stuff. Dude, they friggin' did stuff. And so you get to let go of things that are not serving you and step into things that are serving you without attaching your emotional identity and your value and your worth to the outcome. This is the part that always trips people up, including myself. Very high intention, low attachment. When you don't attach your emotions and your value and your worth to whether or not the outcome is happening, then you can actually make progress. Because again, think about the version of you that already has it. Like if you were making $50,000 a month, would you be worried about making $50,000 a month? If you had the relationship, would you be worried about whether or not you have the relationship? No. That version of you already has it. So don't worry about whether or not you're going to get it, because that's not in alignment with the version of you that already has it. And this is, it messes with your mind. And that's part of the game. It's fun. It's challenging, it's exciting. All of these different types of things. Getting clear on what you want. Embodying that version of you who already has it right now. And then surrendering the details. But taking inspired action all along the way. So that you are consistently taking steps toward your goal. You deserve it. This is how you use the law of attraction in your life. I am so stoked on this stuff, man. I've used it in my business, I've used it in my relationship, and when things are going really well, it's because I'm being intentional about it. And when things are not, it's because I've started drifting on stuff. If you want to learn more about how to do these things, I have something called the Blueprint. You can access it down below for free, or go to prestonpugmire.com/blueprint. It's the 6 steps to creating real results in your life, about getting clarity around what your focus is, what your state is, where your emotions are, what your thoughts are. I would love to give this to you. But for reals, dude, thank you for watching this video. Go watch other videos on this channel. We do awesome videos about how you can live a next level life, intentionally designing your life, because you deserve it. Let's make this happen. Getting clear. You gotta get clear. Getting clear on what you want. Embodying that version of you who already has it right now. And then surrendering the details.